let's get to it. We are here for episode 82 of the PoorMansPoetry.com podcast. Got another special guest in the house. His name is SeeTwelveRun.
Bitch, I'm from the pole. You know it's all day. And if it's up, okay, you know that it's all day. Just keep it cool and beat it up, let's run it all, yeah. I hop on Truman, do 100 on the highway. Bitch, I'm from the pole. You know it's all day. And if it's up, okay, you know that it's all day. Just keep it cool and beat it up, let's run it all, yeah. I hop on Truman, do 100 on the highway. Bitch, I'm from the pole, we ain't smoking post, yeah. Put on for my bros, this is not a joke, yeah. Oh no, scared away, got hoes, yeah. Baking park, I'm on 12 out on patrol, yeah. It ain't no love sometimes on the city streets. I never let them fake me, knowing niggas green. Entice me with the blue to pull up on the scene. Cruising no Paco, I hit up 17.
Make sure you guys go stream that on all your streaming platforms. Now let's get into the interview. Yeah. So what's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm alright. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
That's what's up, man.
Thank you for having me, of course. I actually been keeping up with your stuff for a while, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
I thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think the first time I saw you was on a Portpalooza stage.
Yeah.
It was probably like a year and a half ago or so. But yeah, man, you killed it, man. Your stage presence, man. You was actually. You probably had the most you probably have more of like an arena type of stage presence because you was on the bar. You was
was that the one that you saw me at?
that was the one I was.
You caught me at a good one there.
Yeah.
You caught me at probably one of my best performances.
Yeah. You was going crazy that night, man.
Okay.
For sure.
Appreciate it. That was honest. There's probably not a better one that you could catch me at.
I was actually standing right like you hopped up on the bar right next to me while I was standing right there.
Yeah, that's one of, honestly, like, not even just from my part, that's one of my, like, favorite Portpaloozas. Like, almost the entire lineup went crazy. Like,
okay.
It was a great
show. That Portpalooza, they definitely had some very good performances, man. They just had the last one. When was it? Last week or a couple of weeks ago?
I want to say last week.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, some good artists came from out of that, man. So, let me ask you about your name. Do you actually, when you see 12, do you actually run?
No, so, I have my own kind of history, or encounters, so to speak, with law enforcement.
Okay.
Which I haven't really, gone into detail about.
Okay.
Just cause whenever I do, there's a certain way that I want to go about it. Like, there's actually a video from, I don't know, I was maybe 19. I could have been younger than that.
Okay.
But there's an incident that took place at my parents' house where I was staying at the time. Not a great incident, of course.
Okay.
And I ended up sitting overnight, got out the next day, and just went to work. And literally, I went to work. I had to go to work the next day. And it was weird, just to go through what I went through and then
understandable,
right back to
reality.
And it's like you can't even really process everything, especially with how fast it happened. And I've always been aware of things and just elements of society, but that just kind of just being personally and more directly affected by it kind of altered my trajectory a bit with things I want to focus on and try to have an impact on.
Okay.
And so that's part of the name. It's a sort of commentary on just honestly being black. Everybody deals with the police and this and that.
Yes.
But being black is different.
Especially nowadays, you're right.
Yeah, and there's no simple way to pinpoint it. There's no simple sentence you can encapsulate it inside of.
True.
It's a web of things. So there's kind of the social, political side of that, and then I have a more just people-based version that is more so there's 12 months in a year,
Yeah, right.
And part of my journey is to lead a way and show people that maybe can relate to me, that the things that they want to do, they can do it, and they don't have to do it the way that everybody else is doing it. They can continue to be themselves. They can continue to fight for what they want to fight for and be who they are 100%.
Nice.
So I want to run and blaze the trail for that, you know. So
I'm loving the explanation.
I think I'm 12 because you see me run, you know. So it's a two-part thing.
Okay.
Also, I thought it sounded really cool.
That's what's up, man.
I wanted to go for like a band type name.
Okay.
Also, because I worked with my friends a lot. Like whenever I was in the studio, I was with my friends, and so like almost every song that I had was a collaborative thing. So I wanted to have like a is this one person? Is it two people? Is it three people? And just kind of have like that element of like
I see what you're saying.
Like, what's going on here to make people just kind of think when they hear it, you know? And I think I accomplished that.
You definitely did accomplish that, bro. Yeah. That I'm loving the explanation. I was not expecting that, but I'm loving it.
Thank you.
For sure. So what makes you different from other rappers? I guess here in the city and in other parts of the industry which you're trying to conquer.
Honestly, I'm just me. Mm-hmm. You know, and people have asked that question before, and even throughout my life, I've been called different constantly. Like, you know, and I don't think people really know what it's like for the person being called different. You know, it's easy to call somebody different, even if you're not saying it in a bad way. But I don't think people have the mind frame of understanding for what it's like for that person.
I can see what you're saying.
Through life and people are always calling you different, and there's not really any further detail given. So you have to wonder, like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, because to you, you're just who you are.
True.
You know, unless you're somebody that goes out of their way to be different, which there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are like that. That's not really me. I'm just who I am.
Who you are,
like,
right?
I don't dodge the status quo. I don't do things because people necessarily aren't doing it. It's just what I'm into. Like, you know, so I'm just naturally who I am. And I guess whatever is natural about me, whatever I align myself with, that sets me apart. And I don't think it's because other people are so much the same. It's so much because we see the same thing being pushed and it's being successful, and that's what's promoted. So the people that are different, so to speak, that really push and get themselves visible, they're automatically set apart because they're not being pushed by the things that are pushing the same things, you know?
True.
So
true. Very much true.
You know, and it's like, I don't know, like that question has always been difficult for me to actually answer as it's this, it's that. Just because
it's so many
me,
different
man.
things, right?
It's just me, like without in my music, when I go and I sit down and I make a song, I don't really have a thing that I want to talk about. I don't really have like a specific topic per song because I freestyle everything nowadays. I've been freestyling pretty much everything since I made Wildcard, including Wildcard.
Okay, and that was in, when was that? 19?
2018, released in 19.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so because I was writing and I would scrap songs, I would scrap projects, and I couldn't really figure out why. It was just always a weird feeling, and I would work on stuff for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have like some perfectionist type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably where that comes from. Yeah.
I would just get to a point where I'm just like, I don't care for it anymore. And like, all right, so now I know it's because I would grow from where I was when I made the songs. And after so much time has passed, I don't even really connect with them anymore, you know, because I was in a different place when I made them. But the writing part of it, I got to a point where I was so concerned with making a catchy hook. I was so concerned with having a cool flow or mixing up my rhyme scheme every other bar. Or it became too calculated and I had to... You know,
you're not the first artist that has said that.
It feels robotic. And that is one thing about me. I'm not really big on structure to the point where it becomes the blueprint. Structure is important, but when I feel like I'm filling in blanks and I'm following a pattern, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything anymore because I'm basically just inputting things into a system that's already there. Versus like I feel like I'm creating something that I haven't done before. I'm saying something in a way that I haven't said it before. Like that. Those are the things that like tap in with me. Like that newness, that creativity of like, damn, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could make this. I didn't know I could say this.
Right.
And so I had two friends of mine that were really great at freestyling, and like me and my friends, we'd all kick it at the studio.
Yeah.
And we just kind of freestyle sometimes. Sometimes they would, or I kid you not, I would write, I go record my thing, and then my friend would just be like, "Hey, let me record something." He'd get up and he just do something.
Go.
He kind of joke around with it, but it was like you could see the skill and the talent in it, and I always admired that. And that's honestly one of the things that inspired me to try to tap into it. And over time, it became almost like a spiritual and like a mental thing for me, because I learned that I could connect with myself in a way that usually I would have to be triggered into. You know, it had to be like an emotional thing, but I learned how to control it and do it on purpose. So I could sit in my room with a microphone on my computer. Man, I would close my eyes and just be still and just feel. And then I record. That's
a real artist right there, man. Yeah.
It's different. It's a different, it's hard to explain. And
you have to be very creative to do that.
Yeah. And it took some, and as you do it, you get better. And then it gets to a point where you're not trying anymore. You're feeling, and you're in this flow state of like, I can take what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and I can turn it into something that's catchy. I can turn it into something that's that people have to run back, and I'm not putting pen on paper. And just once I kind of reached that's really when I was able to complete a project, because I got myself out of that mindset of, man, I'm going through revisions on my lyrics and getting writer's block and things like that. Yeah, a lot of wild card is a full take, boom, I got a song. I do a verse. I might do the hook and the verse in one take. I'll make it up, and I'll do some ad-libs, and I'll do some background vocals. Yeah. And I'll mix it, and I'll do whatever, but like, I don't punch. I don't really punch. I don't, that's why some of my songs.
All right, we are back with SeeTwelveRun. Yo. So who are some of your, do you have any musical influences here in the city?
In the city?
Or just in the industry?
I mean, honestly, like recording with my friends. Cause I'm 26 now. I've been doing music since I was 16.
Gotcha.
And I started this with, at the time, a friend of mine, James. He goes by Jameson.
Okay.
Right now. And honestly, he got me into it. Like we worked together. And our parents were good friends. So I was at his crib one day, and he was like, "Want to record?" And we I think the first song I ever did was like a Trust Issues remix. Okay. yeah. He was a big Drake fan.
That was a dope song too.
Yeah, it was. And so like, I've always been doing this with my friends, or at least for the most part I was. So those were really, as far as in the city, those were my inspirations. Okay. Because anybody I'm around, anybody I work with, is because I first of all, we have a good working relationship, but there's something that I either admire, or there's something that I feel like is good for me to be around. Okay. So, like recording with 4 or 5, or just doing this music thing with my friends, man, multi-talented individuals with their own unique thing. For sure. I just pick up little things here and there. So yeah, as far as the city, man, it was Irie Mistakes, Remember Saya, T-Man, Ish, Pope Party Vinny, Tylenaudics, and there's
and they're all on your last project.
Yeah, actually, on Wildcard, they're all on Wildcard. Except I think the only one that's missing is Irie, but that's because he's been in Atlanta, and so all of my recording was done like locally. Okay. At my apartment, so but in the city, and then of course, Pope Baby is a big inspiration for me, just on the getting myself out there and just really trying to do it and being consistent and stable with it, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I see you got the turtles on there.
Oh yeah, man. Got to, man.
For sure.
No shells left behind. You know it.
That's what's up. So let's talk about some new music. You want to talk about some new music that you've possibly been recording or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've been working on things don't start as a project.
Okay.
In a way. So I do come up with kind of like I always come up with like a title, like just like a general vibe, and all that comes from just like how I'm feeling at the moment.
Okay.
And so I've had the concept of Dark Boy World since Wildcard.
Gotcha.
When I shot my cover for Wildcard, I also shot like 3 other covers, and they were all like distinct, and I basically charted out 3 projects, but just name wise, because names are really cool to me. Like, you feel me? A name kind of informs everything else that comes with it, at least the way that I look at it. So, like, I literally shot the cover for Wildcard in my closet.
Okay.
A lot of it's not very easy to see, but if you look at the cover for Wildcard, it's me laying on a carpeted floor with a red light pointed at me, and like it's literally like my face. Like, you can see the earring when you look at the cover.
Yeah.
I
okay. Now that you say that, yeah.
But yeah, I took some other pics, and I had Dark Boy World, and I can't think of what the other one is right now.
So you're not one of those artists that's kind of looking for like the algorithmic type of.
Never.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Honestly, it's probably one of the things that hinders me, but I'm cool with that, man. Like, that's just never been my thing.
Yeah.
So for the past maybe 2 years, the songs that people have heard will most likely be on Dark Boy World. High Noon.
Okay.
Which is the one that gets everybody jumping at, like Palooza and stuff like that.
Yeah.
TikTok is another one.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep this one short. Wildcard was definitely like a full length. That was about 1 hour and 20.
Right.
I had skits within the songs. I had just all type of things going on. I'm gonna dial it back a little bit with this one. Just kind of focus it just on the music.
Okay.
It's a little more streamlined. That's kind of my middle ground of like being, I guess, more digestible. Because everybody don't want to sit down and listen to like an hour-long project from somebody that they don't know.
I hear you.
So this one is more so it's like a sampler of, I feel like, what my strengths are, and just like my different sounds that I've kind of found myself able to tap into. But it's very different from Wildcard, even like sonically. I don't think anything that I made on Dark Boy World will remind you of anything from Wildcard.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's just something like I love new shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I love new shit. Like, even with like technology, I love technology because there's always something new and there's so much to learn. Like, you'll rarely catch me listening to like old songs. Even my old songs, like, I haven't heard "What's Up, Cousin" in probably a year and a half. Like, unless I was thinking to try to perform it or something. But
right,
I'm really big on, all right, what's next? Like, I did this.
On to the next one.
And I gotta learn to balance that out too, because sometimes I can move on from things too fast. But I've been like that since I was a kid, man. Like, like once I'm on it and I go through it, I'm kind of off it because like my brain is just ready, and I want to know, like, all right, what can I accomplish? What sound can I create? Like, what haven't I done yet? And like that's kind of where I push myself at.
That's kind of a good thing, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Just learning how to make it work, I guess, a little better with the platforms and stuff that we deal with, and just how to package it. Because with moving on so fast, sometimes I get ahead of myself, and I would say I don't put the right amount of love and push into what I have already created. Because sometimes you're
moving on to the next.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn how to balance that out. But as you see, I got, I'm on my purple now. Wildcard was very red and black for me. Okay. Which those are my favorite colors. Always will be.
Red and black?
Yeah, always, man. Always. My first card was red and black, like, always. So I just wanted to kind of switch it up a little more. And this was a hard like decision for me to make, because I had the black and red hair before.
Definitely.
And I was gonna do it again, but I was just like, man, I just want to change it just for the sake of changing it and see how I feel. Yeah. And now that was just part of me, like, just wanting not to fall too much into a pattern. Like, not to say that they're bad. It's just like, you live once. Like, I'm gonna be 26 one time. I'm gonna be 27. So let me just try it. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes with just life in general, we lock ourselves into patterns so much, man.
That's so true. So true.
So much. And it's like, it scares me sometimes. And I think sometimes that plays into me just moving on so much. But it's just like, I would hate to one day look back and I did like the same 3 things
over and over again.
Yeah, just with like slightly different flavors, like, you know. Not to say that that's bad to do. It's just not my thing. You know?
Okay.
Like I wanna try as much as I want to. Not as much as I can, but just as much as I want to. Because sometimes people don't even try the things that they want to because they're already doing what they're doing. And so
you're right.
Yeah, I just, you know, even if I'm never a huge artist, even if I'm never this or never that, like, whether it's in music or whatever I decide to do, it's all about me personally. It's all about just doing something new and just trying things out, man. Like, you know, like, that's always a big thing for me.
Until you figure out, you know, like, what you...
It's almost like collecting... You're familiar with Sonic?
Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah.
It's almost like collecting Chaos Emeralds, bro. Like, bro has to go through so many adventures and so many levels and so much chaos to, like, collect these different emeralds. And then once he has them all, he turns into, like, the super form of himself. And he would never do that if you just play the first level of the game over and over and over.
I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And then even in those games, sometimes there's alternate pathways. Even on that same first level, there's an alternate pathway. Because all you gotta do is go back and you try it again and you look a different way, or you try something else and it opens up something that you didn't know was there.
True.
And there's a secret there. And like, I use games, I'm a big gamer as well, but people don't really understand games are truly an art form because art is just a way of expressing. And
right.
A lot of my favorite games taught me a way to look at life. And even just that analogy of Sonic,
right?
That's real life, bro.
It is.
You can look back at something you did and re-examine it and look and say, I liked a lot of what I did, but what if I mix it up and try this, and you unlock that secret, and then you keep going again, and like it just, now you done powered up. You've unlocked a new ability, and now it changes everything that you can do going forward. And that's just one of the ways that I try to move. You know,
I like it.
All the chaos.
I like it, bro.
Thank you.
Definitely. So, let's talk about your performance aspect. I know you, like you say, you don't want to stay in, you know, just stay doing one thing. Would you consider yourself more like a pop star, like as far as like your performance aspect when you're performing?
Yeah, pop, rock. Okay. Honestly, if you look back and you look at honestly, you can just look at Michael Jackson.
Okay.
You look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson did all of it. Like,
he did.
Whatever genre of music you want to talk about as far as like performance energy, he showed all of it. And I always like, you know, he could do the slow foot tap or the slow I'ma hold the mic and head nod, or he could turn up and have a whole like, he's got background dancers and pyrotechnics going off. Like, you know, he could do it all. And you know, again, it's like collecting those chaos emeralds, man. It's amazing to be able to possess so many different talents where you have a range of, it doesn't matter what you give me. It doesn't matter what you think I can't or can't do. I can do it.
You're going to do it.
And so that's probably one of my biggest influences ever, just because. Like,
MJ. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's never going to not blow my mind what he did.
Still to this day.
Yeah. Like what he did and just like how much he did and how impactful he was. He's the blueprint.
True.
And there's genres that owe their popularity to him, and there's artists that owe their popularity to him, and like there's labels that understand, how can I make somebody a star because of him? So it's just like, it's not that I don't want to be like predictable. I just like this recent kind of level that I feel like I'm at with my performances. I've wanted to get there for a long time. I had to build up the confidence. I had to build up the just ability to tap in and not be worried about, how am I going to look? How's my face going to look? Am I going to sweat too much? Because like people don't think, artists worry about that stuff. Like, you know, because we try to be so pristine.
Right.
But I'm just like, damn, that shit's so boring. Like, when I used to perform and I'd walk back and forth on stage, I'd be so bored, bro. Like I would want to just like end my song. Like I hated it, you know, and I always wanted to go past that. And so just year after year, I would just try things that I might have been nervous or anxious to try. I get a little more energetic. I get a little louder. Okay. You know, like I'd interact with the crowd a little more. And now I'm at this point where it's second nature. Yeah. And you know, like, hey, whether y'all turn up with me or not, you're gonna do your thing. Whether y'all jump up and down or not, I'm turning, like, you know, like you're gonna get what you get from me, whether y'all give into it or not, or whether y'all share it with me or not. And I think that's part of the things that people kind of enjoy about my performances, because it's not dependent on whoever's there. It's not dependent on any reactions. And it almost makes it easier to be a part of it. Right. Because it's genuine. Definitely. You know, it definitely is genuine. It's genuine. Like, man, I can't force it. Like, if I'm not feeling something, it's not, I feel like people can see when I'm forcing it. It won't feel the same. Even if I'm still turning up, if I'm forcing it, it won't feel the same. Because when I'm really in it and I'm really enjoying it, even for me, man, it's different. It's beautiful. I don't even see people. Like, you know, that's a performer right there. Yeah, I don't even see people. It's a blur. And I wish I do, man, because people come and tell me, oh, I was turning like this. I'm like, man, I wish I could, like, that's why I love people, like, send me videos and pictures so I can actually see it, because when I'm in it, man, like, it's just, but you definitely are interacting with the crowd, but you're just doing it. Yeah, man, it's that flow, and I'm just really in it, and then, like, bro, when the music is done, it's almost like I snap out of a trance. I'm just like, okay, I'm back to like just walking around and like whatever it is. It's so like that moment of just like controlling the energy and influencing the environment. It's a different state to be in. Okay, you know, and it's a wonderful thing to be on those stages and really, and especially when people do give that energy back to you, man. It's incredible. Like, really, it is. It's incredible.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. So, let's see what other questions I got here. How'd you get into music? What made you want to start doing music?
So I pretty much always have grown up around music. Okay. Especially like my parents, they listen to like old school for me, but their school music. Gotcha. Going to family events and stuff like that, just music blasting. Yeah. Also grew up in church. I was in the choir. Okay. So, and I also was really into writing as I was growing up, and I didn't write music. I wrote poetry. I wrote short stories. Okay. Like I think I was in like 6th grade. I got those little writing competitions that they do for like the students and stuff. I got published one time. Okay. So that was pretty cool. That's what's up. I used to love writing, man. Like I would write all the time. Just the ability to create a world or create a idea or a concept and kind of bring it to life just through words was always interesting to me. Okay. So a friend of mine, Tyler Nodix, I met is Daryl Austin. I met him in middle school.
Thought you said Dallas Austin. Oh,
nah. But no, he was probably the first person I really met, like my age or anything like that was like trying to do music. Like, he was recording himself, like even back in middle school. And he kind of got me into it because we would kind of just like write together in like class and like just share what we wrote. Okay. Sometimes or rap it at lunch or something, like whatever it is. Like, just like little light stuff here and there. Yeah, yeah. I never thought of like doing it as a career choice or putting like any kind of real time into it. And so that happened when I met James, who I was telling you about earlier.
Jameson, right?
Yeah. And so he was going by Jay Wright at the time. My name was JR. My name was JR. So
humble beginnings.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we just and like at the time, man, that was my best friend. We played the game together. We worked together. We made music together. Like, that was my dog, and we just that's really how that journey got started. We formed a little group called the Playground Rejects, PGR.
I love the name. Okay.
Yeah, and the idea behind that was just kind of what we were talking about earlier, the ones that people feel are different from everybody, but we're just being ourselves. So it's like, you know, if we don't necessarily fit in, so to speak, or whatever it is, let's link up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like let's link up. We'll be different together. And now it's not a weird thing that we're different because we have a place that there's a mutual kind of thing going on.
Right.
And so, yeah, we were doing that, and I don't know, like through even just having the escape from crazy realities and just kicking it with my friends and just making stuff, and then we started doing showcases and we started traveling a little bit. We got our own merchandise. We, you know, like we were really like any cover art, whatever, we were recording ourselves. Like we really got into it. Yeah. And throughout high school, I just would kind of.
All right, we are back with C12Run.
Yes, indeed.
So, what was your What was your most favorite project that you've done so far?
Well, considering that I've only put out 2, and the first one was I was in high school. Oh man, a lot of people don't even know that exists. But Wild Card. Well, technically no, I do have Aquaria, which was kind of a more of a mixtape because I took like some older songs that belonged to other projects or they just didn't have a project. Also like some new stuff. So I would say Wild Card just off the completeness of it. Okay. You know.
I meant to ask you that. Are you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Are you an Aquarius? Yeah. Okay, I got you. Same here. I got you.
Yeah, that's what's up. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was I love Aquaria. Aquaria was I let myself have a little more fun on that one, especially with like it not really having an overall theme for it. But with Wild Card, I will say like just like the overall like cohesiveness of it. I think it is more of an experience if you listen to it from like start to finish. Okay. I intended for it to be listened to in order. Because they're just a sort of progression going through it, whether it's like mentally, emotionally, like cause like, I don't know, I would feel, I guess like it wasn't really something that I expected people to be like out and about blasting, you know? I got you. Like, it's definitely something that I see as being like something that it's a personal thing. Like you listen to it maybe at home. With some headphones on, or when you are able to just kind of like tap zone out. Yeah, because I wanted it to have just like an introspective feel to it. Even like any of the recordings or anything that like quote unquote skits that you hear, those are like real. Like it's not scripted, you know. Like some of it is taken from like videos. Some of them are actual like real voicemails. Like I have a voicemail from my mom on one of the songs. Like that's a real voicemail.
I actually just started telling my family that, like telling my wife, telling like my close friends and family, just like we need to start leaving each other voicemails more often now.
But like really like voicemails are actually really good, and like I gotta get in the habit of leaving those more. Just because like sometimes the voicemail can be the difference between somebody getting back to you or not. And,
that's true.
It just makes it easier to follow back up. But yeah, there's a lot of history as well. Just within Wild Card for me, it was a crazy time as well. I was living on my own, but I had a roommate. So I went through that whole process, and just I was going through a lot, and I feel like you can hear it in the music. Okay, and it's a big difference between like what I'm working on now and Wild Card. It's a bit more, I guess, somber. Even the more, I guess, energetic songs, like I never really go high energy on Wild Card because honestly I was down bad, bro. Like I was down bad, and Wild Card is kind of me just examining my life and what I've been doing and like what I was doing at that moment, because I was partying. Okay. I was smoking, I was drinking, I would go out and I would just get super fucked up I come back home. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. I hop on Pro Tools, bro. Like,
Nice.
You know, like, and I would just wild card is me venting. It's me venting, like through and through.
You know, you're right. Because I was looking for, like, you know, like you said, like the high noons and the TikToks, the ones that you're performing at the Port Palooza. I was looking for them on a project. I was like, wait, what happened to those songs? But I get it now. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, like, this Dartboard world is kind of me stepping out of, in a way, like a dark phase. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out how I present that, because that's a story in itself that I want to tell. And I still have some visuals to put together from Wildcard to tie into everything, because it's all going to tie together. That's the goal. That's the vision.
Gotcha.
Because there's an overall story to tell over these years that I've been doing this. So yeah, definitely my favorite so far is Wildcard. It probably, I won't say it always will be, but there's a strong chance that just because of everything that's attached to it, it'll probably always be like number one for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So where do you see yourself going with the music in the future? Like what type of vision do you, or where do you see yourself being as an artist in, say, 5 years?
I couldn't tell you, honestly.
I got you.
Just because, I mean, even right now, like after COVID and just kind of trying to snap back from everything that's just been going on, where I'm at right now is I got a big money focus. And like even after Wildcard, I released like a little 2-song EP called Run the Money.
Okay.
And just because, man, I realized, and like it's like you know, but I realized how much you need to shield yourself. Okay. From just whatever crazy shit could happen. And
that's true.
Just being completely transparent, I didn't have enough. You know, like, and there's just certain things that I don't want to go through again, and I don't want the people around me to go through again. So my focus is on building my wealth. Okay. Whether it's the music or whatever it may be. So right now I'm doing something that's totally different from that. I'm kind of in the game industry right now, and I'm working in that area, and that's what I'm making a living off of right now. So that's kind of where my focus is. Not to say like I'm giving up on music or anything like that. I'm putting my time and attention to like what's lucrative, keeping my pockets full, man. I totally understand, brother. Because a personal gripe I have with like being an artist is so you have to jump through so many hoops to get paid a reasonable amount, even at that, to get paid in general, but to get paid something that is worth getting paid. Yeah. You know,
especially with the time and effort that you put into it.
Yeah, because if you look at streaming services, they literally pay you a fraction of a penny. Like, they don't even pay you a penny. They pay you a fraction of a penny per stream. Yeah. And so, I mean, it works for a lot of people, and it's not impossible to do. I just have my own issues with it, especially from ethical, like moral standpoints.
I got you.
Because my vision of it, how I see it, is they trick people from, yo, you can sell your CD for $10 a CD, and guess how much you make? You make $10. Right. And you know, hey, now you put a whole album out, you gotta make, I don't know, you might gotta have 10,000 streams before you make $10, man. Like, you know, it's just like it flipped in favor of being profitable for everybody but the artist. Right. The people spend less money, the labels spend less money and make more, and it's like
the artist the one spending.
Turn into a music factory, and that's why the quality of music has gone down, because the quantity is so high, and now everybody's competing with each other because everybody's putting out so much music, and that's why the gimmicks are at an all-time high, because the gimmicks they make you viral, and like going viral gets you the attention, and get the attention gets you the money, and I'm just like, I don't want to do all that shit, man.
I hear you.
I don't. It's not me. It don't resonate with me. And I've tried to put myself into it, and I'm still trying to navigate it in my own way. But it's just like the core of it just don't sit right with me, man. Like, hey, if I do work and my work is good, pay me.
I hear you. You're like,
right. I shouldn't have to reach level 10 before I can get paid. And it's like jobs treat you like that as well, you know?
Definitely.
Because if you're like a first stage employee or whatever it may be, you can work as hard as you want. If they got to